Our funding for the Guatemala study has come from the US National Institutes of Health. Those are 5-year grant cycles. So each one has to be independently generated, peer-reviewed, funded, and it has to address a question that can be answered within a 5-year cycle. So while it builds on the earlier work, it doesn't predicate itself on the study will continue until these people are 70. How do we kind of build that in? And in fact, kind of we have to, it's hard for us to think through, and reviewers sometimes challenge collecting data now that will be useful in 20 years, because we're not funded to do that. We're funded to collect data now that will answer a question now. And the funding cycles for, I know that for Young Lives, for example, the funders have had been very generous and had committed to a long timeline. And I understand that kind of they've now committed to another multi-year timeline, which is kind of fabulous. And one would think that it would be possible, given the funding available from major donors, that almost like an endowment could be set up for a large population-based study that would basically be funded off the interest of the endowment. And it would then be available in perpetuity. That study would not need to go back to kind of a set of funders, but it would be continuously funded as long as it was seen to be productive. And productivity would, of course, change over time. I mean, initially you're answering questions about children, infants, and then you're answering questions about children, but you have the capacity to build in the knowledge that we're going to be ending up with adults. And isn't that great? Let's collect the data that would let us get to that point. So the study would be broad enough in terms of the numbers and the contexts, and deep enough that the data would kind of be valuable in terms of longitudinal relationships.